So the government has recently agreed to set aside $216 million to cover the cost of cutting the excise tax to heated tobacco products. Associate Health Minister Casey Costello, who is also the Customs Minister, said she would implement a 50% cut to the excise tax, but it is simply a contingency, she says, and indicated it is unlikely to end up costing that much. She said the modelling has been based upon the 4 years since HTPs were introduced in Japan from 2016 to 2019. And she noted Japan does not have legalised vaping as a smoke-free tool. The excise tax would be trialled for a year to see if indeed it did help people to stop smoking. She said she would also track smoking numbers over the course of that trial and regularly meet with quit smoking providers. So, are HTPs better? Will they be a smoking cessation tool like vapes were meant to be? And joining me now is Professor Chris Bullen, School of Population Health, University of Auckland. Chris, good afternoon.
Sure, good afternoon.
Thank you so much for your time today. Firstly, go back to basics. How do HTPs work? And how are they different from vapes?
Right, so they effectively heat tobacco, but they don't burn it like cigarettes, and they don't. And vapes just vaporize nicotine solution. So heated tobacco products are tobacco products. They've got a little plug or a sliver of tobacco in them, but like vapes, they're battery operated, and think of them like a toaster rather than the fire that a cigarette is. So they're likely to be somewhat less harmful, but we don't have the full picture of that yet. The problem with them is that the evidence so far that they help people to quit just isn't there.
So I said, just before I came to you, Chris, and you've just brought that up, is the minister has referred to Japan. But you're saying that there really isn't any, even though they did 4 years with them. Do you still think that there's no independent research? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, so there's the issue around the independence of the tobacco industry who, own these products. That research hasn't yet been done. But the story of Japan is quite different from New Zealand because, as the minister noted, vaping is banned in Japan. And quite a high proportion of people who smoke in Japan have moved across to use these HTPs, heated tobacco products. But the information that I've seen on those people is that they're also continuing to smoke. So they're using the HTPs and the smoking. And we know with vaping that if you vape and you smoke still, that you generally have just as bad health risks are just as high as if you just smoke ordinary cigarettes. So I don't think it's a great idea to incentivize people to move to these relatively untested products.
So I've never smoked, and I've never picked up vaping or cigarettes. So these HTPs, are they new to New Zealand? How long have they been here? Do you know, or they're bringing them in? What is the rules?
Yeah, well, they're legal tobacco products because they've got tobacco in them. So they've been around for a while, and you'll find a few stores that are owned by the major tobacco companies that market them along with their own vape products.
Right.
And they've been doing quite a lot of marketing at events and promoting them online and promoting them as a way of quitting smoking, but making them look very attractive and cool and so forth. So I think given what we know about how vaping has been targeted at young people who've never smoked, I'm very concerned that the same marketing investment and direction will occur with these products, especially now that they're going to be more affordable for people.
Yes. And do you believe that vaping truly does aid people to quit smoking? Because, there are stats that show, it does work for some, but as you mentioned, a lot of young people have taken it up, even when they didn't smoke cigarettes before.
Correct. So what's happened is that these products have evolved a lot since they were first developed and entered the market. So the first vapes came into New Zealand back in the late 2010, 2011, and they were largely then used by people who wanted to move away from smoking. what happened around 2019-20 was they became much more sophisticated at delivering nicotine in higher doses, and they were much smaller. So the battery technologies improved, the vaporizing technologies improved, and they look a lot cooler. And then the marketing push is being targeted at young people. So they've taken off, especially the disposable ones where you have, a sealed unit. This is what's driven, I believe, the increase in vaping amongst young people who've never smoked before. But the evidence is that they are an effective tool for helping people to quit smoking. But they're probably about as effective as some of the better nicotine replacement therapy combinations and some of the oral treatments like Champix or Varenicline, which do help some people to smoke, but nothing is a perfect solution. I mean, it's a combination of having a go, having lots of goes, getting lots of support, and changing the environment makes a huge difference to help people quit smoking. And that's why smoking rates have been coming down in New Zealand, is we've been driving up the price of tobacco and making it less normal to smoke.